Welcome back to History Help with JD Queentry. You're watching Winds of Revolution, the Atlantic World in Upheaval, a documentary series exploring the revolutions that shook the Atlantic world. In our last episode, the French Revolution sent shockwaves through Europe. But the most explosive revolution of all was about to ignite, not in a European capital, but in the plantations of a small Caribbean colony. This is the story of the Haitian Revolution, a rebellion forged in fire, slavery, and unbreakable will. If you're enjoying this series, be sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for updates. Now, let's uncover how enslaved people in Saint-Domingue rose up to make history. The Haitian Revolution, fire in the Caribbean. Saint-Domingue, France's sugar empire. By the late 18th century, the Caribbean colony of Saint-Domingue was the crown jewel of the French Empire. Located on the western half of the island of Hispaniola, it produced nearly half the world's sugar and a significant portion of its coffee. This wealth came at a brutal cost. Over 500,000 enslaved Africans toiled under appalling conditions to feed European appetites. The colony's social structure was a powder keg of class and racial tension. White planters ruled at the top. Free people of color navigated an uneasy middle tier, and enslaved Africans bore the weight of the colony's immense profits. Despite its prosperity, Saint-Domingue was also home to deep unrest. Enslaved Africans maintained their cultures, resisted through subtle and overt means, and formed secret networks. The free people of color, many of whom were wealthy, educated, and even slaveholders themselves, resented legal discrimination and longed for equality. The ruling white elite feared any change that might upset their power. The stage was set for a radical upheaval. Revolutionary winds reached the Caribbean. When the French Revolution erupted in 1789, its ideals of liberty, equality, fraternity resonated across the Atlantic. Free people of color, led by figures like Vincent Ogé, demanded the rights of citizenship granted to men in France. When their calls were ignored, violence followed. Ogé's failed uprising in 1790 resulted in his brutal execution, but his actions inspired future resistance. Meanwhile, enslaved people closely watched the chaos in France. News traveled through sailors, traders, and revolutionary pamphlets. In 1791, a massive slave rebellion erupted in the northern plains of Saint-Domingue. Tens of thousands of enslaved men and women rose up, torching plantations, killing slaveholders, and demanding their freedom. The colonial elite was stunned. France, already in turmoil, struggled to respond. The revolution in Saint-Domingue was no mere echo of events in France. It had its own logic, rooted in centuries of exploitation. Enslaved people fought not just for abstract ideals, but for their survival and dignity. Their actions would redefine the meaning of revolution. Toussaint Louverture, the rise of a leader. At the heart of the Haitian Revolution stood one of the most remarkable figures of the era, Toussaint Louverture. Born into slavery around 1743, Louverture was freed in his 30s and became a coachman and plantation overseer. Intelligent, strategic, and deeply influenced by Enlightenment ideas and Catholicism, he emerged as a skilled military leader during the rebellion. Louverture deftly navigated the chaos of international politics. Saint-Domingue became a battleground between French, Spanish, and British forces. Louverture allied with the Spanish, then with the French once they abolished slavery in 1794. As a general in the French Republican Army, he defeated foreign invaders and rival factions, consolidating power across the colony. By the late 1790s, Louverture had become the de facto ruler of Saint-Domingue. He rebuilt the economy using paid plantation labor, reorganized the military, and governed with firm discipline. Though he claimed loyalty to France, Louverture drafted a constitution in 1801 declaring autonomy for the colony and himself governor for life. For Napoleon Bonaparte, this was unacceptable. Napoleon's gamble and the war for independence. In 1802, Napoleon dispatched a massive expeditionary force under his brother-in-law, General Charles Leclerc, to reassert control over Saint-Domingue and reinstate slavery. Louverture welcomed the French cautiously, but soon realized their intentions. Betrayed and captured, he was shipped to France, where he died in prison the next year. But the revolution did not die with Louverture. His generals, including the fierce Jean-Jacques Dessalines, continued the resistance. As news spread that France had restored slavery in other colonies, the Haitian fighters vowed never to return to bondage. A brutal guerrilla war ensued. Yellow fever decimated the French ranks, and in 1803, the Revolutionary Army delivered a crushing defeat at the Battle of Verdières. On January 1, 1804, Dessalines declared the independence of Haiti, the first free black republic in the world and the first nation born of a successful slave revolt. It was a revolution unlike any other, anti-colonial, anti-slavery, and radically egalitarian. Global shockwaves and the price of freedom. The Haitian Revolution sent shockwaves throughout the Atlantic world. Slaveholding societies in the Americas recoiled in fear, tightening controls over enslaved populations. In the United States, Haiti was seen as both an inspiration and a warning. In Latin America, revolutionary leaders like Simón Bolívar were later aided by Haiti, which demanded only one thing in return: the abolition of slavery. France, humiliated and broke, abandoned its ambitions in the Americas. Just a year after losing Saint-Domingue, Napoleon sold the Louisiana Territory to the U.S., a transaction that doubled American territory and changed the map of North America. Yet Haiti paid a steep price for its independence. International isolation, economic embargoes, and a punitive debt to France crippled the new nation. Western powers refused to recognize or trade with a country governed by formerly enslaved people. Still, Haiti's existence challenged every notion of racial hierarchy, empire, and revolution. Legacy: Haiti and the meaning of freedom. The Haitian Revolution stands as one of the most important and least understood events in world history. It was a profound statement that freedom could be seized by the enslaved, that revolution could come from the margins of empire. Haiti became a symbol of black liberation and anti-colonial resistance. Despite its revolutionary origins, Haiti struggled under political instability, foreign intervention, and economic hardship. But its revolution inspired generations, from abolitionists and Pan-Africanists to modern freedom movements. In the Atlantic world of the 18th and 19th centuries, no revolution matched Haiti's radical transformation of society. It shattered chains, toppled empires, and rewrote the narrative of who could claim liberty. Thank you for watching History Help with J.D. Queentry and this episode of Winds of Revolution, the Atlantic world in upheaval. If you learned something new, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video to help more people discover history that matters. Next time, we'll explore the last great upheaval of the era, the Latin American Wars for Independence. From the Andes to the Amazon, revolution would sweep through the Spanish Empire. Stay tuned for Episode 5, Bolívar's Dream, Latin America's Struggle for Independence. Until then, keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep history alive.